when the jiva goes to next jiva, between that time we don't know how much time it is going to happen. So my connection is 2 generations or 3 generations. Whatever karma human beings are doing, it's all for the self satisfaction. Actually prana, pretatma, atma, they don't require anything. It is for our satisfaction that we are showing. Yeah, when even when we do Surya Namaskaram, Surya is not going to get benefited. It is for us to show the gratitude. It is for internal purification. It is for a regard. When I say Namaskaram, thank you for the help, whoever has done the help, he is not going to get benefited. But I am sure I get a gratitude and I am being thankful to you. It is actually a self cleaning process during all the rituals which Bharatiya Shastram says. And because if you do that, what do you get is moksha. What is moksha? It is not for after death what you get. I told you moksha is a longer term happiness. That longer term happiness comes because of my action. I feel happy tomorrow. What is 7 Janma? Actually, for any human being, I am connected to 3 generations above me and 3 generations below me. So there are 7 Janmas for me. Each generation is 1 Janma. There is a saying in Malayalam, there is a saying Nyan Padi, Devam Padi. I am sure every language a version of that will be there. Half is my contribution, half is Devam. Actually, Devam is not Bhagavan. Devam is not Ishwaran. If that was there, we should have also had Nyan Padi, half from me, half from Bhagavan, Ishwara. No, that is not there. Half from me, half from Devam. Who is Devam? My earlier Janma, Sukritam or Dushkritam, whatever I have done, that is called Devam. So, what exactly is until yesterday what I have done will haunt me every moment in my life. Today I am being haunted by yesterday's thoughts. So what is moksha actually? Can I get rid of these yesterday's thoughts so that I can become happy today? I have to be cautious about what is going to happen tomorrow. So I cannot tell that don't think about the future. As a human being, we want development, we want progress, we want to become more and more acquiring 3 things in life. Generally 3 things in life. One is artham, dhanam, earning. Second one is fame. Everybody wants fame. Otherwise you are not a human being. Fame need not be globally fame. I must add my trust in few more people in my life. That is fame. Third one is knowledge. If these 3 things are which gives me happiness, I have to get connected to 3 generations above, 3 generations below. Otherwise no meaning. Even if I say I am famous, I got an award. Can I go and stand in the center of the road and say that I got an award? Whom should I send WhatsApp and say that I got an award? Only the people who are connected to me. So that connection is generally 7 generations. 3 generations below, 3 generations above. Maximum. So that is why we keep saying the rituals are being done for those people whom I know. I may not do for anybody who was 4 or 5 generations back. I am not going to bother. So it is only for ourself. Every ritual in Bharatiya Shastram is for self. Ishta karma. If I do ritual for my grandfather, father, mother, if I don't do it also, society is not going to get affected. So it is happened to be Ishta karma. So if you do Ishta karma, we told you, Ishtate lapate sorgam, we get sorga. What is that sorga? It is not after my death, my temporary happiness. What is my moksha? Little longer happiness. So the rituals, all these sankalpas, these are all sankalpa. Whether God is there or not, only we should ask God only. Whether we have a punarjanma or not, yeah, we will discuss it after both of us reach that place, in case if there is another place there. That's only what we can say. Correct? How do we know when the prana goes, it got into another birth? If sharira is a kshetra, if my body is a kshetra, and my prana is what is inside, how is it guaranteed that it goes into another body, another vessel? No guarantee. Immediately it may not go. It may evaporate and go also. It's like water in a pot. Assume the pot breaks over a granite, the water will be there. It will not all on a sudden will not vanish. But if it breaks in a mud or in a sand, definitely it will vanish immediately. You cannot trace it back. Atma is like that. Where, when, how, which context I am dying, that will determine whether my prana will disappear immediately or the stay there for some more time for another vessel. That is why we will do so many rituals. Prana is not one prana. As far as Bharatiya Shastra prana is concerned, there are different pranas. Arjuna prana is one which we remove by the rituals generally. Even prana is also, breath is also called prana. The breathing is called prana. Prana vayu. We don't even have to say vayu. Prana is good enough. The prana stopped means is breathing stopped. प्राणापान व्यानोधान समानामे शुद्ध्यन्दम ज्योतिरहम विरजा विपात्मा भूया संग स्वाहा वाक्मन चक्षुश्रोत्र ज्ञान जिह्वारेदो बुद्ध्याकृति संकल्पामे शुद्ध्यन्दम. This is saptashuddhi. In saptashuddhi, prana is also mentioned. The starting is prana. Pranapana vyanodhana samaname shuddhyandam. Prana, apana, udhana, all that different air which I take in my body, which I take inside, which I release it outside, which I used for pushing my sweat outside, all the waste from the body has to go. I need pressure. Even urinate, also you need pressure. And that pressure is the air which is inside me. It is kept in our body, and when we take breath inside and release it outside, it is that not that whole air which I take goes out. Only some percentage goes out. Major percentage is kept inside. The previous to previous breath what I have done, that breath alone will be converted for the exhalation. So inhalation and exhalation is like a cyclic process. It is not like putting in a burthen and then vacating it totally and then again filling. So it has to circulate throughout our body. So when the prana goes, it doesn't go all on a sudden. It stays sometime, even in our body. Otherwise, after death, the tummy will not become, no, there are so many processes happening because air is there in each of our cell. That is why the body gets attached to the one prana that is still there. So the degeneration happens only after some time. The stinking smell comes only after some time. So Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manonmaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya kosham. As soon as Anandam is gone, Vijnanam is gone, Manas is gone. Prana's attachment to body will be, Annamayam will be still there for some more time. This is what is Sankalpa. Exactly we wanted to know. I will tell after my death how it goes. But at least 3 times I died in my life. I have gone very close to death and then escaped. So I know how the death is going to be. Death experience I had. I am so fortunate to be having death experience 3 times in life. So I know the smell of death. I know the blankness of death. That is actually samadhi, not the meditation samadhi I am saying. Right? Accidents after accidents. So I was time tested by Yama and then said tata bye bye. You stay some more time, I will come later. 3 times I sent him back. So that's a great experience. Unless you feel it, you don't understand. It's almost close to meditation. That avastha in you is called Sayujya. Yesterday, Lalitha from Bhagavad Gita group, somebody sent me a message. She wanted explanation.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So,
Yes, I am.
what was your question? Yeah, namaskaram.
Yes, I said Sayujya, according to my knowledge, is Sayujya with Upasya Devata. Yesterday you told that Sayujya is mix, not that mere happiness and all.
So what are the steps which you said? I was not able to locate. Yeah.
Sarupya, Samipya,
No.
Sarupya, Samipya, Salokya,
In
Salokya, Sarupya.
yeah, Salokya. Salokya is my lokam and my God's lokam has to be together. My lokam, my place and God's place has to be together. So where is God's place? I go closer to God. God is everywhere. I am only keeping myself away. So where is God's place? God's place is in my manas. God is inside my manas. So what should I do? I should take him close to my manas. So what is that? We want to go closer to Bhagavan. Salokam. That is closer to God. Be with God. That is my first step. Second step is
Is it mingling with?
The mingling is in my manas actually. See, we have to understand that the whole concept of God is only in the manas. So what am I doing? That's why day for yesterday or sometime I told, no, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. What is that I am doing? I am calling Hare, Hare, Hare. Please steal me, please steal me, please steal me. That is the meaning. Hare Rama means Bhagavan, please steal me. What is stealing me? Not physically stealing me. Sometimes jokingly I will say, no beautiful girls should tell me Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. The neighbors will change their name to Rama or Krishna and kidnap you. Correct? How do you know? Because every day evening before night the girls are calling Hare Rama, please kidnap me, please kidnap Rama. Luckily no Rama or Krishna is there in the neighbor. Neither if there is Rama, Krishna, they don't understand the meaning. So people are safe. So what does it mean? Please take me, steal me, steal me, steal me. What is stealing me? My manas. Please take my manas closer to Bhagavan. So Lalita is asking, what is Sayujya? First, reach closer to God. Second one, Sarupya. Get the shape of Bhagavan inside my manas. Conceive him totally inside. So that I feel so happy that God is inside me. The Rupa is totally inside me. Even when you go to temple, sometimes the God's picture is not inside you. You are thinking so many other things. So not necessarily you are able to get God totally inside your manas. Get him closer to. Then Samipya. Once Rupam comes, you have to be taking him totally inside you. Not in the Rupam alone. Sometimes shape is there but thoughts can be something else. So get closer to him. Attach to him. And once that attachment is there, I get dissolved in him. That is called Sayujya. That is a Bhakti Prasthana. Yesterday we were not talking about the Bhakti concept. That is Bhakti. Now here what are we talking about? We are talking about the spiritual concept. The spiritual concept, what was Atirya's question was, whether the Sayujya and the Atma concept which we have. What is that Atma concept? Through Upasana, through meditation, will I be able to get into a Atma level? That's a beautiful discussion. I had a discussion with Atirya. whether the word called Anatman is there or not was the question. Actually, Bharatiya Shastram doesn't have Anatma word. But Buddhist has, like Sayujya, Nirvana, Anatma, these are all words which came from Buddhism. What is the Buddhist concept? They keep saying, assume that I get a Sayujyam, I get meditation, I got submerged into Bhagavan. Then I is not there. The concept of we goes to I is the selfish nature. From I nature you go to the we nature, that becomes social nature. When we itself is not there, I surrender everything to Bhagavan. My action for you is also not there. My action for Bhagavan is only there. Can I surrender totally to Bhagavan every action which I do so that I get full bliss? We talked about bliss. We talked about devotion, samarpanam, enlightenment, surrendering to Bhagavan. That time, how can you say you have an Atma? Because you don't have Atma. Your Atma itself is gone. The self is gone. Self is not there. The self is part of us. The single us. The single unity. And who is there? Only Bhagavan is there. Paramatma is only there. So, Atma is not one who is holding. We reach Paramatma level, and that difference of the Supreme and you is not there because you reach into Sayujya. Whatever Lalita says. Same. Concept is same. But only this is Bhakti. You have to think that Bhagavan has a shape. Bhagavan has a Rupam. Bhagavan is to be appreciated. Bhagavan is to be kept on praised so that he will take me inside him. That is Bhakti. So the Bhakti level is also fine. Nothing wrong. Bhakti can be one method of approaching to Bhagavan. But that is not the only way. What is generally said, for those people who think that Bhagavan is in stone, temple and all that, they are in the picture. Yeah, Parameshwarji has. Yeah, now we are not on Atma and Prana. Atma and Prana is same. When Prana is inside you, the Atma is the Prana. But Prana has got a different meaning. What sustains your life is also called a Prana. Atma has got a bigger meaning. When somebody understands Atma, we cannot say understands Prana because Prana is biological. Atma is spiritual. That's the difference. When I understand Atma, we call that person is an Atmiya Purusha. So that's like an adjective for you. Prana is not an adjective. Prana is a noun. So there is a slight difference. But it can be understood in that way also if you want. Right? The Atma concept is there only when I distinctly stay away from the Bhagavan or Atmiya style. When I am an Atmiya Purusha, my personality has become Supreme Personality. I am a God realized person. I am an enlightened person. I am an Atmiya Purusha. Where is my Atma? Because it's submerged with the Bhagavan. We have seen in the Nirvana Shadagam, no prana is there, no shariram is there, no manas is there, no indriyas are there, no panchabhutas are there. No material is there, no majja, no mamsam, everything is out. The panchakosha and all is only for people like normal people. When everything, that's why even Ramana Maharshi doesn't think about his body at all. When he was diseased at the end, somebody asked, you have to undergo surgery. He said, what surgery? If you want to do it. That's it. If you want to do it, I don't require. That is how they are. When he used to walk along with his disciples, the temperature of the rock used to be so hot. I don't know whether if you have gone to that place, you will understand. The summer and all, it's too hot. No house, nothing, because he don't care his body. When people say that your leg will get heated up, others will get heated up, but for him no problem. He said, what Ushnam, what Shidam. I remember when I went to Kailash with my guru, everybody has a dawn jacket, monkey cap, another inner, 3 layers, 4 layers. People don't even take bath. Your Anushtana Achara is only here. When you go to Kailash and all, everything goes. You can only keep on adding your dress based on the temperature. As you reach on the top, you will become 3 layer, 4 layer, 5 layer. But I remember he did not take a circumambulation because he was 76, my guru, Brahmashri KPC Anijan Patadripad. But at Manasa Sarovaram, he was removing all his dress and then he was chanting mantra for me to do the rituals. I was in dawn jacket, everybody was in dawn jacket. I had at least a banyan, but I was shivering like this. Oh. And then he was without a topless man with only a dhoti. And he was saying Shiva Shiva, Shiva Shiva, Shiva Shiva, Shiva Shiva. Where is this energy comes from? That is spiritual energy. For them, temperature difference and all is not, doesn't matter. Do you know in the sanctum sanctorum of a temple, not these local temples in the street in Hyderabad, I am saying. You must go to Kerala temples. Inside the sanctum sanctorum, there will be hundreds of oil lamps. And the place for him to take a circumambulation around the bimba will be just a small gap. And that will be with all the everyday ritual with the ghee. Imagine if that fellow slips and then the whole thing will burn inside, right? But so far, luckily in the whole world, there is no case of such things. What is that energy? Can you imagine closing the door and staying inside in that temperature? Sometime in Guruvayur temple, it is 4 hours, 5 hours puja. And 5 hours staying inside that hot place, normal people cannot stay. Only spiritual people can stay. And that's a big meditation. Do you know in the one of the best meditation in America, which in Delhi and all people do, that is called the hot meditation. Your temperature of the body in the environment changes to 56 degree. You will get real Sayujyam. That's another method in which your whole body becomes flexible. Your brain will not work in the normal sense. It works in a highly hallucinated style. It is much better than drinking alcohol or maybe taking kanja. That's another hallucination. So there are different methods of reaching into. No consciousness works in me, not even prana, not even buddhi, not even manas. Uddhared atman atmanam, Bhagavad Gita says. You don't have to raise it, that difficulty is not there for you. Easily you can get into that. That avastha is called Sayujyam. Buddhi is not there, manas is not there. Everything is surrendered to your atma and you become an atmiya purusha. That is also Sayujyam. In that case, what Buddhists called them, I don't know, maybe rarely somewhere they must have used anatman. No atma is there. A state of not having atma. I is not there. Who can understand this? Not everybody can understand. Who does upasana? That is what Lalita was telling. That upasana need not be bhakti. That upasana can be meditation through my knowledge. Upasana can be my Upanishadic Upasana is the best Upasana. When a student asks a question, what is in the student's mind? No bhakti. Actually, it is enquiry. That enquiry stage, Bhagavan Krishna said, Chadurvide bhajante mam. 4 type of people come to me. Artho. Always they have complained only. Right? My life is like this. I did not get a promotion. My neighbor is disturbing me. I have filed a case against him. And Bhagavan, please help me. What is Bhagavan to do with your neighbor's case? Somebody went to, one Swamiji was called for Annadanam in a house. And immediately the household owner said, I will do my puja and then come back and feed you. Let me finish puja, then Annadanam for you. And this fellow went inside and then he was crying and telling all his problems. Swamiji immediately when this fellow came back and said that, Namaskaram, I don't want your food because you yourself is a Daridravasi. Why should you take food from a poor man? Yeah. See, for some people, even if they become rich, it is not good enough. They always keep on complaining. They are complaint box. That is not upasana. Tam yatha yatha. How to? Upasate sa tataiva bhavati. What is that you are doing upasana? Later you will become that. What a great message is that here. Tam yatha yatha upasate sa tataiva bhavati. Whatever that you are doing upasana, that is what you will become. So you go to a temple and keep on praying, I have got a disease, my leg is not working, my head is not working. Bhagavan will think that is what they want. Bhagavan will give you that only. So Bhagavan doesn't like people who are artho, complaint. Definitely Krishna doesn't like. Right? Artho jitnasu. Who is the other fellows? They will go to temple to see who are the other people came there. They are not interested to listen to lecture. They want to see who else is there in that class. Correct? Some people go like that also. Jitnasu. The jitnasa is not for learning sometime. In the materialistic world, there can be jitnasas. Artho, jitnasu, artharthi. They will always want something. There is a beautiful saying. If I get 1,000 rupees on the road, Bhagavan, I will give you 500 rupees. What is the contract? You see, many people have this sort of contract. And this fellow, as soon as he will not give because Bhagavan did not hear. No. He don't even have faith. So therefore, he is never getting. So he himself doubted his faith. Upasana is not there. The upasana is your sarupyam, salokyam and all that. Getting to the closer to his life. Getting closer to his shape is what is upasana. That upasana is not there. Only word is there. In Manas did not surrender. So what he says, there is a beautiful sloka in Malayalam. Vishwadishwara Rupai Airaminiki Rotilangan Gidan Ashwasatenu Gittumingileka Madin Padinyan. If I get 1,000 rupees, I will give you 500 rupees. Hey Bhagavan. He prays. But then he himself got a doubt whether Bhagavan will believe him or not. Therefore, what he says, why should you don't trust me or mistrust me? Take 500 rupees advance and give me 500 only on the road. Why should I come and give you the temple? Some people are like this. See, one rich man had a big bangla. He is not able to sell the bangla. So what he did, by mistake he prayed, Bhagavan, whatever money I get, I will give it to you. In the hundi I will put. The temple donation I will give. Next day, immediately somebody came to purchase the house. He was thinking, what a mistake I did last moment. But all rich people are more intelligent than normal fellows. Immediately he said, yes, the house price is only 1,000 rupees, but whoever buys my house have to buy my dog and the dog price is 1 crore rupees. Because then 1,000 only I have to give because I have given a vote to the God saying that I will give you whatever money which I get out of selling the house. Dog is not included for the God. So you are so intelligent sometimes. That intelligence and all should not work. Sayujyam means your intelligence doesn't work. Total surrender. Only devotion is there. Right? Anyat srunoti. Don't listen anything. Anyat vijineti. Don't think about anything else. Sabhumaha. Everything, the whole earth is that only. Yatra anyat pashyati anyat. Whatever you want. Tat kalpitam. Tat alpam you want. That alpam only you want. Can you get into that alpam? That minimum? Tat chintanam, tat kathanam. I am only thinking about that. I am only talking about that. Anyat tat prabodhatat. Only that is what I am keep on preaching. Etat ekapadat paratvam. All that mix into one. That brahmabhyasam vidur buddha. That brahmabhyasam. That is what is Hridaya Guhara Madhye Kevalam Brahma Matram. That Brahmavastha can I reach? That's a question. That Brahmavastha, whether you reach into Atma or Anatma or Paramatma or Atmiya level, whether you call it as enlightenment, it doesn't matter. It is all up to somebody else. It's all up to somebody else, not for me. Why am I doing it? Why am I giving this lecture? Is it expecting something? No, it doesn't matter. Yesterday somebody called for a lecture in Doha, teachers training program. Immediately asked, sir, how much you want? How much you can pay? How does it matter whether you pay or don't pay? Chod, no, never. It's not required. I am rich for my cup of tea. I decide where I want to have my tea. That's it. There has to be some end of your requirements. Once the requirement is there, probably yes, you will have to. But do you have such a stage in which you reach good enough? Good enough. I don't require anything. That is the difference between, see, the Marxist people have got a two set of people. Those who have, those who don't have and have nots. That's a great economic principle which defines Leninism, every ism in the world. Who have and who have not. Have and have nots. That's a great Marxist philosophy. But there is another set of people in India who had but left everything for somebody else. Shankaracharya had. He left even his mother. You look at all the rishis. Vivekananda never stayed in his house. He was begging and living. He went to America. Everywhere you can see people wandering around for serving the society. They are all greater and greater. Now I will connect to what Sandhya asked. Can you reach that level? What is the difference between the scientific and spiritual is the question. Science always for development. Development is always for the better life living. But what is scientist, sannyasam, rishis and all that? They wanted to leave the better living and go to the worst living place. Because you don't want the physical environment in which you feel comfortable. You want to be uncomfortably comfortable. Science will tell you how to be in a comfortable stage, though you may not be comfortable there. They are comfortably uncomfortable. You understood the difference? I have got an AC room, I have got an AC car, everything is there. Nice Dunlop bed is there, but no sleep. That is development. That is progress. What is spirituality? That will not give you that beautiful bed. No soft bed. You will give you lot of difficulties. But still, if you ask, you have any problem? No problem. Why? Even this will go. There is a great message, one of the best message in the world which Indian spirituality can provide to everyone. Even this will change. Yesterday somebody was talking about a big problem in their family, in their life. I said, even this will change. Only one message you want to know. Even this will change. So you cannot be happy also. Because during happy also you must remember this. Even this will change. The happiness also will go.
Nothing is permanent.
Nothing is permanent. There was a great king who lost the war and he was imprisoned. And then one great philosopher came and gave a small chit in a small box and asked him, don't open it. Open it only when the worst thing happened in your life. And after some time, he thought this is the worst time. But then he thought maybe some more worst things will happen. So he was holding it without opening. Then one of his nephew fought a war and then he was relieved and he became the king. He was thinking, now what will happen? I have seen the worst in my life. When he opened, he saw, even this will change. So, for every valley, there is a cliff. For every mountain, there is a valley. So, that is not taught by any other philosophy other than spirituality. How can you consider Dukkheshu anudhiknamana Sukheshu vigata sprha vida raga bhaya krodha sthidatir muniruchyate. Can you control all this? So what is the point in becoming artho, sad and going before God and then says, God will tell you, even this is only temporary, don't worry. God will not give you what you want. God will give you what you deserve. If you ask what you want, that means you are very low level. You don't know what you want. He knows better what you want. Our want is only temporary. The permanent want he knows, he will give you. But for which he may test you. Lot of process of testing will happen. So what is spirituality? Spirituality is a big process of testing. What is the testing? Like a scientist does lot of testing to prove his theorem. The life, human, science, in which lot of experiment happens, and that is done by the spiritual scientist. So is there a difference between spirituality and a scientist? No. The scientist does science experiments. A spiritual scientist does experiments with the life. The margin is very less. If you are a good scientist in science, you can always get into life science. So if somebody asks me what is my specialization, I keep saying I am a life specialist. L-I-F-E, life. I know how to prescribe live in full enjoyment. I know how to prescribe how to learn in full enjoyment. I know how to learn and become that learning as an investment for future earning. That is what is essential in life. So you have to turn from a normal materialistic scientist to a life scientist. That is spirituality. I am 100% sure this answers Sandhya's question also. So there is no difference. Artho. Everybody is artho. Jitnasu. You can have a jitnasa. That jitnasa becomes jitnasa in what is Bhagavan. That will end up in saying jitnasa is what is in me and who am I. And that who am I is the question what Ramana Maharshi answers or Shankara answers. That is where we understand who am I. Right? I also had few scriptures of Shankaracharya explained thoroughly well. Look at Dr. T.P.S. Shankaracharya. Madhur Panchakam is also explained. There they will tell you what Shankara thought about his mother. He has got the greatest praise for his mother. Don't consider Shankara is one who left mother. Leaving physically is different. Carrying inside your manas is more important. Where is my amma? Where is my appa? Where is my father? Where is my mother? They are inside me. So that sankalpa. Where is my Bhagavan? Inside me. Hridaya, Guhara, Madhye. Probably one of the chanting which daily or every lecture which I repeat is Hridaya, Guhara, Madhye, Kevalam, Brahma Matram. Inside my Hridayam there is only Brahma. And that Brahma, Jitnasa. I want to know. So your faith, bhakti will become knowledge. Once your bhakti becomes knowledge, you become a spiritual scientist. You become a Atmiya Purusha. You become an enlightened person. You understand. I understand Bhagavan. I know Bhagavan. Is it not Sayujyam? With the bhakti, blind bhakti, with experiments, experience, learning, understanding, discussing, satsang, you will reach there with the dhyanam, with knowledge. That is why Bhagavad Gita gave karma and sankhya. Critically analyze. Bhakti, everything is mixed there. Artho, jitnasu, artharthi, and the other one is nani. The last one is nani. So Bhagavan liked this nani people. That's why he kept it the supreme last. That's the last word, nani. They are the people who comes to me. That is what Bhagavan says. Chaturvide bhajande mam. 4 type of people do prayers to me. I think, I don't remember which sloka, which chapter is that. You can look at it. Chaturvide bhajante mam ato jitnasur artati nanija baradarshabaha. That's what it says. Yeah. Okay. So I think I have answered. And yeah, I missed somewhere in between. When you go to a temple, what do? You pray. So where is Bhagavan? Bhagavan is in the temple. Bhagavan is in the shape. Bhagavan is in the picture. So I don't know which reference book it says, but it says if you have got only half, yeah, this sloka Chaturvida Bhajante, chapter 7, 16th sloka. That's what. See, you need good students around so that you don't waste your time on searching where it is. Good, wonderful, thank you. She is good, doing a good job. Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukritino arjuna arto jitnasurartharti jnani ja bharadarshavah. Okay, so 7th chapter 16th sloka. What a beautiful sloka is this. Bhagavan himself knows. So any pretension, any acting that you have bhakti and then you keep talking about your problems in life, Bhagavan knows this fellow. Jnana Vijnana Yogam. Jnanam and Vijnanam. Beautiful word. Jnanam is knowledge. Vijnanam is discriminative power. Viveka Vivechana Buddhi. Do I know how to separate what is good and what is bad? That ability you should have. If you don't have that ability, then you are not good. So definitely you should have that ability to understand what is good and what is bad. What is useful, what is not useful. All these have to be understood. Right? So another one, if assume that you are a person who don't understand what is Bhagavan, what do? You will find it. That is essential. I told you, in the young child has to understand when the snake comes in front, I must know this is a snake. How do I teach? I must teach them showing the picture of a snake. So when I see Bhagavan in a temple, I must understand it is not Bhagavan. It is only a place for me to get training that this is Bhagavan. Similarly, for a Rishi, for them, where is Bhagavan? Bhagavan is inside their Hridaya. They don't worry about anything else. They don't even pray. They don't even go to temple for doing offering. They believe that Bhagavan is always inside their manas. So, if you have moved from the state of normal bhakta to the bhakti of a sannyasi, you will carry. That is where Hridaya Guhara Madhye Kevalam Brahma Matram. So sannyasis, rishis are all people who generally think about Bhagavan and keep them inside their Hridaya. So they don't require to find temples for prayers. I don't know whether you remember, there is a great saying. One sannyasi, they are all generally parivrajakas. They don't stay in one place. They keep on traveling. So what happened? He became so tired. He came and then was sleeping on a stone near a tree. And there was another stone which is little higher. Because of continuous walking, his leg was paining. So what he did? He kept his leg on the stone which is little bigger than in the neighboring place. That was late night. Next day morning, the pujari came. This man looks like a saintly person. The prabha, the glittering ambience is there from his face. And the pujari came and then saw this man is keeping his leg on the Shivalinga. The pujari said, what are you doing? Where are you keeping your leg? How can you keep leg on the Shivalinga? It's a big crime. He shouted. Then immediately the sannyasi said, yesterday night I didn't know. I was so tired, my leg was paining. So there was some little higher stone. So I kept my leg there. What is wrong there? This is Bhagavan, we are doing puja here. Okay. My leg is so much paining now, I cannot even move my leg. So what you should do? He asked the pujari, what you do is, please help me. Take my leg from that Shivalinga and then keep it where God is not there. Is there any place in the world where God is not there?
No, Sarvantan.
So, how can you keep? So, this is actually confusing. For some people, they think that Agnir Devo Dujadinam. For a Duja, for a Brahmin who does puja, he cannot do puja without a lamp. First he will say light the lamp. Because as far as he is concerned, where is God? God is in Agni. Agnir Devo, whoever is identifies Bhagavan in Agni is called Dvijan, Brahmanan, cross-belt fellow. His job is doing ritual. Agnir Devo Dvijadinam Muninam Hriti Devatam. For a Maharshi, where is Bhagavan? In his Hridayam. He keeps on moving with the Bhagavan. He don't want to go to temple. They only go to temple to take rest. Or maybe to give lectures. That's it. Give prabhashan, give ashirvadam. That's it. Otherwise, you don't see sannyasis going and praying. If at all they are doing, they did not realize themselves. That's it. Agnir Devo Dvijatina. But don't tell tomorrow onwards, I don't go to temple, I am a Rishi. No, that will not come. You have to reach that level. No, after LKG, UKG, only PG. Don't go directly to PG. Agnir Devo Dvijadinam Muninam Hrididevadam Vigraham Sulpa Buddhinam. For Sulpa Buddhis, half-minded fellows. For them, Vigraha is good enough. Picture is required. I don't want the picture of my father to visualize my father. Though I lost him when I was 4 years old, I know my father. I know his movement. I know his sound. Though I am not hearing now. It's all imprinted in my hridaya. Right? Agnir Devo Dvijadinam Muninam Hrididevadam Vigraham Sulpabuddhinam Sarvatra Vidhidatmanam. Actually, where is Bhagavan? He is there everywhere. Can you realize it? That's a great spiritual experience. What I am trying to drive myself along with all of us in this satsang is to reach that level where we can realize it. So what is the aim? Sayujya is the aim. What is Sayujya? Realizing God. What is realizing God? Merging with Him. Your Atma and Paramatma joins. And this mudra is called a Jnana Mudra. That is why it is called a Jnana Mudra. That is why when chanting they are in Jnana Mudra. Always keep like this and then chant. Automatically it comes when we do the Swadhyaya and all that. It goes like this. This is how we were trained to hold. And what is this mudra? This is also called a mudra where you take milk from the cow. Correct or not? Well, how do you... I have done in my life, in my childhood. Those who have not, they may not know. This is how you take milk from the cow. This mudra is called Jnana Mudra. So which mudra you take milk from the cow? Jnana Mudra. Is there anything, anywhere it is mentioned? Prapanna Parijataya. Bhagavad Gita Dhyana Slokam. Third one. Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraika Panaye Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya Gita Mrdaduhe Namaha. Have you seen where is this Jnana Mudra? This Jnana Mudra is where? Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya. Krishna is in Jnana Mudra. And what is he doing? He is taking Gita Amrta Duhe. Duha means milk. The Amrta. Actually the essence of Gita is the milk. Where is it coming from? The next line. Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraiga Panaye Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya Gita Mrtaduhe Namaha. I salute that action of taking milk with the Chin Mudra, Jnana Mudra, milking Mudra. And which is, if Gita, Bhagavad Gita is the milk, which is the Amrit which came, from where it comes from? It comes from the cow. Who is the cow? Cow is the Upanishads. And Upanishad will not give cow. No cow will give you milk just like that. Only calf has to go and then suck a little bit. So that the breast will fill with the milk, then you can do it. You remove the calf, then take the milk. Then again ask the calf to go and suck. So the cow is Upanishad. Who is this calf? Calf is Arjuna. Because he went and touched. That is why the milk started coming. Otherwise Krishnan would have no chance of giving the lecture. Sarvo Upanishado Gavo. Sarva Upanishad is the cow. Dugdo Gopala Nantana. Who is the person who is taking milk from the cow? Gopala. Krishna is the person who is the milkman. Milkman is Krishna. Partho Vatsasudir Bhokta. Partha, Arjuna is the calf who is going to suck and then make this breast full with the milk. Dugdam Gita Mridam Mahat. Bhagavad Gita is the milk which came out of that. These two slokas, so beautiful, no? You can chant if you want. Prapanna Parijadaya
Parijadaya
Totra Vetraika Panaye Nana Mudraya Krishnaya Gita Mrdaduhe Namaha Sarvopanishato Gavo Dugdha Gopala Nandanam Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gita Mritam Mahat Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. So don't finish chanting Bhagavad Gita. Aim should not be finishing. Like an academic exercise, finishing syllabus is the job of the teachers. Don't do that. One sloka, two slokas, one line in the sloka. Not every sloka is important, every sloka is great. Right? So this mudra is the Jnana mudra. So who is in Jnana mudra always? Rishis, sannyasis, swamijis, who are into satsang, who will learn and teach always. And this is the mudra. Generally this is how they will sit. Right? The chanting happens inside. You need not to make sound. Actually, dhyanam comes only when you have silence. Silence is the first lesson. But I cannot be in silence and then teach. But assume you reach into dhyana avastha. How do you reach into dhyana avastha? Silence. So my guru, Rama, Himalayan tradition, Swami Rama, Swami Veda Bharati, that tradition taught me only one subject. How to be silent. That's a great knowledge. Being silent is a great knowledge. Sometime in Grihasthashram, silence is the best message. Sometimes when you react unnecessarily, it creates a lot of problems. So what is to be learned? How to be in silence. Don't react. Because even this will change. Have patience. Let it happen. Okay. Okay. For everything, okay. Whatever says, okay. Agreed. Other person feels so happy, you are so obedient. But that okay is only word. You do what you want. Your thoughts can be what you want. Your actions also can be what you want. Why not? Because you need not tell everything. Only thing what is appealing to people you can say. Priya Vakya Pradhanena. That's only what it says. Priya action is never said. Vakyam only is said. You can see Bhagavan Krishna uses it many times, many places. He is a person of great management principle. He knows where to say, where not to say. Unnecessarily he will not speak. He will only speak at the place where exactly it is required. So when we read Bhagavad, yeah.
He's the God of management.
He is a great man of management.
God of the management.
So day after tomorrow I have a lecture on the Vedic University. There is another lecture with somebody else. It's all value management through spirituality. That is what I am doing. How could I do that? Just because I went into Bhagavad Gita. How did I went to Bhagavad Gita? By mistake. Somebody called me for a lecture and the topic given was Bhagavad Gita. They thought anybody can speak about Bhagavad Gita. And I said, I don't know how to speak on this Bhagavad Gita because I never gave lectures on Bhagavad Gita. He said, sir, you can. Immediately somebody came. Soon after that, those days I was writing articles in Indian Express on Vastu, energy and such things. Some old man from Secunderabad railway station, Khairatabad nearby, that, I mean, not Khairatabad, what is that? Secunderabad railway station, the other side there is a small place, hospital, Gandhi Hospital, no, near to Gandhi Hospital. Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
Honda.
Mondamarg. Earlier Central Jail was there, right? So during those days, somebody came with a bunch of magazines to me. Even today I have those magazines.
James Street.
Yeah, nearby that place, one old man, 75-year-old man, he's a retired railway employee. He came in a scooter with a large number of books. In that all publications, he has underlined a lot of things and then gifted to me all that books. I said, why did you come to me? When he got an orange from the market, the paper used for wrapping, when he opened, he saw an article from Dr. T.P. Shashikumar. He found out from Indian Express my telephone number, address and all that. He came. Those days telephone itself was not there in my house. So he got the address and then he came there and he gifted all these books. I found all these was exactly the essence of Bhagavad Gita from Narayana Tapovana Swamigal from Thrissur Ashram publications, in which this old man studied everything, underlined all Bhagavad Gita part and gifted to me that. Immediately I know, no, I can speak about Bhagavad Gita now. That's where I started. In 1990s, I started learning this from a person who gifted to me that book. In that book, there was telephone number and all that. I went and searched him, but that man was not there. No such address was existing, but that book was given to me. Still, I preserve it as my introduction to Bhagavad Gita. Actually, he said he is from railway and he wanted to go to Kerala. He has got a first class pass. Next time when you go, I will take you along with me. Those days, aircraft was not a normal travel mode. We were all traveling by. I was so happy that somebody is gifting me a first class ticket. I could travel with him and all that. But man was not there, but the knowledge was given. See, when it has to come to you, it comes to you at the right time. That's why Tapovana Swamigal was introduced to me. Though he was very close to my wife's house, I never knew Narayana Tapovana Swamigal. But then I had an opportunity to attend his lectures when I was in Delhi. He had got a beautiful ashram, and E. Sridharan, Metro Sridharan was one of the participants. We used to participate together. Both of us were together with Narayana Tapovana Swamigal. So sometimes great satsang, introducing to him. The other day I chanted one sloka, Purne Manasi Sampurnam Jagat Sarvam Sudadravaihi. All that I learned from him. And my poetry book, when I wrote poetry, immediately I gave it to him and then asked him, read this and then give, because many of the poetries are from his spirit. So you can see a lot of deep-rooted spirituality inside this, because all that came from Narayana Tapovana Swami's lecture and then that motivation. So it needs good satsang, good people. Need not be too many people. Very few. It needs a lot of patience. When you go to bhakti, you learn, but similar practice you can see through Jnanam also. That is what the beauty of Bhagavad Gita. Bhakti, Jnanam, Karma. Everything is mixed. Once you can understand all the three, then you reach into that level where you can contemplate on this. Otherwise, what will happen? You will become only bhakti. That is good. You can do that. But from there, you must take a parallel. Just because Lalita asked Sayujyam 4 steps. See, one day, I can continue like this for hours together. So we need good questions. Jitnasa is essential. Right? Salokya, Sarupya, Samipya, Sayujya. The 4th step. Exactly same what we talked about, Nirvana. So that can be Atma. Now today in Modi style, if you say action oriented Atmiya level, Atma Nirbhar. That's entrepreneurship. Karma based, reaching to self. Yeah. I can say I made it. That is called a Sakshatkar. Sayujyam. Everything is one and the same. So we have crossed our time.
So Dr. TPS,
Yeah.
why Argyam is offered to sun?
Why?
Why Argyam is offered to sun?
That is because sun is the source of every food what we eat. It's like a thanksgiving to him.
Okay. To be thankful.
Yeah. What is the best food what we eat? All that some portion you give it to him. Got it? So anything which is what was best earlier, ghee, rice, maybe sweet, all that you can make something out of it and also give it. And it's only a thanksgiving. You don't know whether he is going to take it or not, but it's my
Outside.
when a guest comes, we don't know what he eats. What we'll do? We arrange so many things and then give him. Let him take one bit he takes, good enough. If you don't take also, he looks at it and then say, yeah, he feels that this person respects me, right? So that is showing respect. Showing respect. But Bhagavan Krishnan says you don't have to. Phalam, pushpam, toyam. Anything is good enough. Patram is also good enough. But don't steal it from neighbor's garden. You have to water yourself. You have to make your own fruit. Don't buy it from some Monda market which somebody stamps. And that flower has no meaning. It's actually decoration waste. Can you make one flower out of your toil? That makes meaning. Got it? It is simple. Very minimum. But give it from your effort. That is essential. Many people will steal. You have seen in villages and all, what they do is they go to temple. While going, they will pluck flowers from every garden and then give it to the temple and say it is my offering. If we can write name in each of the petal and then give it also, it is very good. What is your offering? It is as if I am coming to Rudradev's house and then taking trophies from your shelf and then giving to you, saying that it is my offering to you. Huh? The whole garden is Bhagavan's. Why should I pluck something from that of Bhagavan's garden and then give it to Bhagavan? Actually not required. That is why I remember when I went to Muscat, many people asked this question. So I said it's only your Sankalpa. So immediately they wanted to learn puja from me. Sankalpa puja is there. Without lamp. I don't require a lamp to... I can... Sankalpa is there. Manasa puja. I don't require a picture. Actually all these are only peripherals. You don't require. A good actor doesn't require a costume. A good dancer doesn't require all the costumes. Only bad dancers should look like a dancer. Got it? You don't require a PowerPoint presentation. PowerPoint is not required. You need powerful points. If you don't have powerful points, PowerPoint is required. Understood? So, why do you require phalam, pushpam, toyam? Nothing is required. Sankalpa.
So that means upavas is also not required.
Upavas is, I never do. I cannot even starve for a single day. I miss my breakfast, finished. No Bhagavan. I will get angry with Bhagavan also. See, upavasam is upavasam. Sitting beside. Sitting beside Bhagavan. Dr. TPS is not sitting beside Bhagavan. Bhagavan is inside me. Why should I sit beside him when I am carrying him inside me? Why should I starve? Who says while starving only you think about Bhagavan? That is for people who have got a big belly. They eat too much. One day they don't want to eat. And assume that you are doing upavasam. Don't speak to somebody else you are doing upavasam. When you say that today upavasam is for me, I am doing upavasam, that means you are propagating. You are thinking about it. That means you are thinking about food, not about Bhagavan. If somebody says today is my upavasam, therefore I did not eat, soon after that I will have a milk, that means you are thinking about milk and not eating. No. Upavasam is the time when you should only think about Bhagavan. Not about programming, not about office file, not about earning money, not about wandering, not about driving. Upavasam is sitting beside Bhagavan. Stay in the temple. Stay in the puja room. Only say Rama, 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 Rama. Learn satsang. Now I am doing upavasam for 2 hours, 1 hour. while teaching. I am sitting beside Bhagavan. Bhagavan is inside me. That time I should not think something else. When I think something else, will this flow of words will come. This is Upavasam. Bhagavan is not, he is sitting inside me, not I am sitting beside him. That is more important. So, see, you meeting Prime Minister is different, Prime Minister holding your hand is different. Kada? I go and hold his hand. But when I meet Manmohan Singh, I was not holding his hand. Manmohan Singh was holding my hand. You see my website picture. Manmohan Singh was holding my hand. With both his hands, my hand was inside in between. That is when you speak, they understand, yeah, this man has got some stuff. I want him beside me. That's how when you hold somebody's hand so tight, right? So you need Bhagavan. Bhagavan has to be inside you. That is Upavasam. Either you eat or don't eat, it doesn't matter. Eating too much will create you problem. But eating has got great health effects. That we will discuss. Our Ponnur couple wanted something on food. Lakshmi wanted. We will take it up. Ardhapuradaye tannam tadardham varinam dada. Half eating is good for you. We will have a beautiful lecture on how much to eat, what to eat, when to eat, what is health. Dr. TPS weight is 60 kilogram for last 30-35 years. No less, no more. Maybe +1 plus. Even during this COVID, staying at home 365 days. 60 kilo. No more, no less. No change. Exactly maintaining same body. What is required is Annam. Annam has to be taken very carefully. So, not eating is not good. Eating too much is also not good. Upavasam only means that. But there is a health aspect. What is health aspect? If I starve on Monday, husband will become better person. Monday has no meaning. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is a administrative division made by the new era. Nothing to do with the Bharatiya Shastra. There is no Fridays and Tuesday for Bhagavati. Have you given off for the other gods and goddesses? Weekly off. Only Monday and Thursday Vishnu has to come. Saturday only duty for Shiva. Where is sunrise, where is sunset for Bhagavan? There is nothing is there. They are beyond our earth. So this Upavasa, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday and all is some ritual for making your life disciplined. For those people who are not disciplined otherwise. So 15 days, I eat most of the days at night only fruits. That has become my ritual. For some people, Ega Bhuktam Mahayogi, one time if you eat, you are a bogi, yogi. Dibhuktam Mahabhogi, Tribhuktam Maharogi, Chadurbhuktam Mahadrohi. And many people eat 4 times, 5 times. That's a practice. Don't stop it at the age of 40. But at least for young children, from youth you require. After that, early motherhood and all that, you must know how to control your food, because that health influence will be there in your time soon after that teenage. Adolescence onwards, you must be careful. Okay, we'll take it up. In detail we will discuss this later. So pranams to each one of you. Great. Thank you. God bless you. So tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we will not meet Monday. Because tomorrow, day after tomorrow, I have series of classes and lectures. I cannot even schedule my time. So we'll see you on Monday. Yeah?
Also at the same time?
Yeah, Monday. I'll post it. Same time Monday. But those who have not made me link, probably just send a WhatsApp so that I'll keep you informed. Right.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Pranams. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.